Hello everyone, this is Anita Soni and you're watching Deserving Champions. In my previous video of genetics part 1, I had discussed about the very basic concepts of genetics, and today in this video I will be discussing about Mendelism, the Gregor John Mendel, his time period, his research work and the techniques Mendel used for performing hybridization experiments in the pea plant. So let's proceed further without any kind of delay. Mendelism, yeah. First scientific explanation regarding inheritance. It was given by Gregor John Mendel. Since he laid down the foundation of genetics, he is called as the father of genetics. He was born in a village in Austria on 22nd of July 1822. He was a mathematician actually, and but he was assigned a role of priest and a teacher in a church. He performed hybridization experiments on the pea plant, uh, Pisum sativum, the botanical name of pea plant. It is Pisum sativum, for 7 years. He performed, this is very important, students, that he performed hybridization experiments on the pea plant for 7 years, that is from 1856 to 1863. And this time period is also very important because many times the questions had been raised on this point, that for how many years the Mendel performed experiments on the pea plant. So Mendel performed hybridization experiments on the pea plant for 7 years, that is from 1856 to 1863. Even the question had been raised from this time period as well, that like during which duration the Mendel performed experiments on the garden pea plant. So the answer is 1856 to 1863. And pea plant, it has 7 pair of chromosomes, and Mendel performed hybridization experiments on the pea plant, and he proposed some principles or the postulates, and those principles are called as the Mendel's laws of inheritance, and Mendel's work is known as the Mendelism. And he, in 1865, he presented his research work in a paper, that is experiments on plant hybridization. And he died in 1884, and very sadly, till he died his work couldn't get proper recognition. Fine, the proceeding to. So on this slide, I told about the birth year of Mendel. He was a mathematician. He performed experiments on his experimental material. It was garden pea plant, and fine. This was very simple. And now, 16 years after Mendel's death, that is in 1900, the three scientists, they rediscovered Mendel's work, and this is the time by which even the microscope got invented, and the people were aware of what is mitosis and the meiosis and how the DNA looks. So the three scientists in 1900, they rediscovered Mendel's work, and this is when the Mendel's work got proper recognition. These three scientists, they were Hugo de Vries from the Holland, Karl Correns from the Germany, and Erich von Schermach from the Austria. Fine. Okay, and the reasons for Mendel's failure, that is why Mendel's work couldn't get proper recognition till he died. So what were the reasons for his failure? So these reasons are that during that time period, the methods of communication were very simple, and methods of communication were very simple. Like today we have internet, and we can reach globally. We can reach to the international audience very easily, but during that time period, the methods of communication, they were very simple. Mendel's work could not be widely publicized, and it could not be known globally. That is, it could not reach the international audience. His research work, it was published in local journals, and to reach the international audience, it has to be published in international journals, which was not done. Fine. So this was one reason for Mendel's failure. The another reason was that the Mendel, he was a mathematician, and the biologists all over the world, they were not able to comprehend the fact that a mathematician is explaining the biological phenomena, biological concepts. So this was not acceptable for the biologist. Now, the Mendel, he proposed the term factors. He proposed that factors, they are responsible, they control the characters in the individuals. That factors, they are the particles, particulate or discrete matter, and they are transferred from the parents to the offspring. People by that time, the microscopic work, it was at very elementary level, and to understand something imaginary that is being passed on from one generation to another, it was not very convincing to the people, and it was not acceptable to them that there is something imaginary that is being passed on from one generation to the another. And he provided the term factors, but he couldn't provide any physical proof for the existence of factors. So that was one more reason. And also, the biologists all over the world, they were busy discussing Darwin's theory, which was known everywhere, so they couldn't pay much attention to the Mendel's work. So this was again one more reason for Mendel's failure. These were the reasons for Mendel's failure. Now coming to the next slide. Now, reasons for Mendel's success. So when I say reasons for Mendel's success, I mean the kind of experiments Mendel's performed. He got 100% success in performing those experiments. That is, his research experiments, they were 100% successful. And why he was successful? So the reasons for Mendel's success were that in his experiments, Mendel studied the inheritance of one or two characters at a time, so that the results he got, they were quite accurate. And also, uh, in his experiments, the Mendel selected garden pea as his experimental material, and we all know that in any kind of research work, the selection of experimental material, it is a very important step. And so the Mendel, he selected garden pea plant in his experiments, which was one more reason for the success in his experiments. Why Mendel selected garden pea for his experiments? The reasons for that are that the garden pea plant, it has many contrasting characters. When I say contrasting characters, I mean that contrasting characters, they are the characters which can be easily distinguished. Fine. And for example, tall and dwarf, they can be easily distinguished. And for example, the color of the flower, that is the purple and the white, it can be easily distinguished. The color of the seed, the color of the pod, green and yellow, easily distinguishable. So the like this only, the pea plant, it has many contrasting traits. Then the second point is that garden pea plant, it is an annual plant, and it is a very short life cycle of 2 to 3 months. So the Mendel, he was able to study many generation of the pea plant over a shorter duration of time, and because of this reason, he could have a larger sample size in his experiments. So this was also one more reason. Pea plant, it is a bisexual plant. So in the bisexual plant, he could perform the self pollination as well as the cross pollination experiments can easily be performed. And again, the garden pea plant, it is easy to cultivate and maintain. In case of the garden pea plant, the seeds which are produced, they do not show any kind of dormancy. That means as soon as the seeds, they are formed, they germinate. Right? Dormancy means the seeds, they do not germinate as soon as they are formed. But in case of garden pea plant, the seeds, they do not show dormancy. They germinate as soon as they are formed. And pea plant produces large number of seeds. So as the large number of seeds, they are produced, it means that large number of generations could be studied. He could get a larger sample size, he could get larger data, research data, so the results, they are going to be authentic. Fine. And one more reasons for Mendel's success is that I had told you that his experiments had larger sample size. Suppose we are performing any kind of research work and our sample size is 100, and somebody else is performing the research work where the sample size is 1000 or millions. So definitely the person who is having the greater sample size is going to have the authentic data as compared to the my experiment results, wherein I am keeping my sample size to be smaller. So definitely he maintained the larger sample size, and that provided the authenticity to his experiments. And then again, in the last experiment, he maintained the statistical records of all the experiments. That is, the data he had, it was analyzed properly, since he was a mathematician, and it was analyzed properly using proper statistical and mathematical rules. So the correct data analysis in his research experiments, it was also one more reason for Mendel's success. Right. So next slide. Yeah, here in this slide I have shown the characters, 7 characters of the pea plant, which were studied by Mendel in his experiments. Fine. So these 7 characters which were considered by Mendel for performing experiments on the pea plant, they are, this is very important, I think every year or almost every alternate year, the questions, objectives, they are framed from this table in the NEET examination. So you need to remember, you need to memorize this table very properly. And I'll tell you, I'll at the end of this genetics, I'll be discussing about the questions, like what kind of questions they are raised in NEET exam for from this genetics section. So uh, one more important point is that in the Mendel's experiments, the Mendel studied 7 characters. Like these are the 7 characters which Mendel studied in his experiments, and or it can be Mendel studied 7 pair of contrasting traits. So these are the 7 pair of contrasting traits which Mendel studied, and also Mendel studied 14 traits at a time. 14 traits, like in total, if we'll calculate these traits, they will be 14 only, or he studied 14 true breeding pea plant varieties. Fine, that is the 14 true breeding pea plant varieties. By that I mean to say that 14 uh, these are the 14 traits. So 14 true breeding pea plant varieties, they were studied by Mendel. And so these were the characters, that is, the one is the stem length, the second one is the pod shape, the third one is the seed shape, fourth one is the seed color, fifth one is the flower position, sixth one is the flower color, and the seventh one is the pod color. And this is very important to remember, that out of in these characters, which trait is dominant and which trait is recessive. Fine. So in case of stem length, the dominant trait is tall and the recessive trait is dwarf. For the pod shape, for the character pod shape, the dominant character is the inflated. It is also the full pod. The recessive trait is the constricted pod. That is, this pod has constrictions in his entire figure. And the third character is the seed shape. The seed shape, the dominant trait for the seed shape, it is round, and the recessive one is the wrinkled. For in case of the character seed color, the dominant trait is yellow and the recessive trait is green. And in case of the flower position, the dominant trait is the axial. That is, the flower is not placed on the top on the terminal position, it is present between the two leaves. And the recessive trait is the terminal flower, that is, the flower it is placed at the terminal position, that is on the top of the stem. And flower color, the flower color, the dominant is the purple color and the recessive trait is the white color. In case of the pod color, the dominant trait is the green color and the recessive trait is the yellow color. So you need to remember all these points, that these are the 7 characters which were studied by Mendel, and also the dominant trait and the recessive trait for all of these characters. So now the next slide contains, yeah, this is one more very important point, that the gene for Mendelian characters, they are present on the 4 chromosome, that is the chromosome number 1, 4, 5 and 7. And so these are the characters. So characters for the character of the seed color, it is present on the chromosome number 1, and character for the flower color, it is present on the chromosome number 1 again, and character for the flower position, it is present on the gene number chromosome number 4, and the gene for the stem height, it is present on the chromosome number 4, gene for pod shape is present on chromosome number 4, gene for pod color is present on chromosome number number 5, and gene for seed shape, it is present on chromosome number 7. So the highest number of genes, they are present on the chromosome number 4, that is the 3 genes for Mendelian characters, they are present on chromosome number 4, and 2 genes are present on the chromosome number 1, and for chromosome number 5 and 7 each, one gene is present for Mendelian characters. And so it's good to memorize these points. Now the Mendel performed hybridization experiments, that is he performed cross. Fine. So steps of any cross, or we can say steps of the Mendel's hybridization experiments. There are 3 steps. Fine. First one is the selection of pure parents, and by that I mean that Mendel always started his experiments by selecting the pure lines, that is a true breeding P line, and by mean of pure parents I mean to say that he selected homozygous. Fine, homozygous plants, that is when I say tall. So the pure parent for the tall trait, that will be capital T and capital T, and pure pure parent for the dwarf will be small t and small t. But for recessive trait, the parent is always pure because it is always homozygous. Recessive trait, it appears only in the homozygous condition that I had told you in my previous video. Now the second step is the hybridization between the pure parent. So these are the pure parents. First one is the selection of the pure parents. When the selection of pure parents is done, pure parents, this is one more important point, that the pure parents, they are obtained by continuous self pollination, by continuous selfing. So they are obtained by continuous selfing. Once this is done, then the hybridization between those two pure parents takes place. So once we obtain the hybrids in the F1 generation, then these hybrids, the selfing is done among these hybrids, that is crossing the members of the same generation is selfing, as you remember. So in the third step is selfing in the hybrid plants, that is the self pollination is performed between the hybrid plants of the F1 generation to obtain the F2 generation. And this was about the steps of a cross. Now the techniques of Mendel, this is also very important. So the Mendel, he conducted artificial pollination or the cross pollination experiments using several true breeding P lines. I have told you true breeding P line is one that, having undergone continuous self pollination, it shows stable trait inheritance for several generations. Fine. So he conducted artificial cross pollination experiments using the pure parents. Fine. So he developed a technique known as emasculation and bagging for hybridization in plants, and we all know that flower of the pea plants, they are bisexual, and like both the male sex organs and the female sex organs, they are present within the same flower. And so to in what happens that the one flower is considered as a female and the another flower is considered as a male. So to consider one flower as a female plant, Mendel, he removed the male sex organs from that flower, that is he removed anthers from the one flower, and so that that plant was considered as a female plant. And the removing of these male sex organs is called as the emasculation. Fine, that is the removal of anthers from a plant is called as a emasculation. And why the emasculation is done? Emasculation is done to prevent the self pollination. This is very important, guys. This question has been raised several times in the NEET, that why emasculation was done in Mendel's experiment. So many options were given. Out of those, you have to select the emasculation is done to prevent the self pollination, that is the male sex organs, they are removed from a flower so that the flower can be considered as a female flower, and that to inhibit the self pollination within the same flower. This was the emasculation, it was done. Then what happened, then this flower, it was covered with a polythene, that is a bagging was done. So this bagging, it was done, it was covered by bags. This is called as the bagging. And why bagging was done? Bagging was done to prevent the undesirable cross pollination. So you need to remember these 2 points, that emasculation was done to prevent the self pollination, and bagging, it was done to prevent the cross pollination. Fine, this was very important. And so this emasculated flower, the flower which is now considered as a female flower, it was covered by bags, that is the condition is called as a bagging. And now what happened, that now the mature pollen grains, they are collected from the another flower which is considered as a male flower. So mature pollen grains, they are collected from those the male flower, and they are dusted on the stigma of the female flower. Fine. Now the pollination, it takes place, fertilization takes place, and the seeds are formed in the female flower. And the plants that are obtained from these seeds, and these are called as this is called as the first filial generation. And uh, that is the F1 generation according to the Mendel. And the plants of the F1 generation, then they are self-pollinated, selfing is performed, and the F2 generation plants, they are obtained. So this was the entire technique of Mendel. I have given this diagram to make it more clear for all of you, and that is, look, the character uh, which is taken over here in this diagram, it is the color of the flower. So the dominant trait is the purple color of the flower, and the recessive trait is a white flower, that is a white color. And this flower is considered as a female flower. So in order to consider this as a female flower, its male sex organs, they are removed, that is anthers are removed. Anthers, we all know, contains the male gametes, that is the pollen grains. So they are removed, and this is the white flower. And then in the second step, the pollen of the white flower, they are taken and they are transferred to the pistil, that is a carpel of the purple flower. Fine, they are dusted on the that is pollen from this male flower, they are dusted on the stigma of the female flower. Fine. Now we have now what happened, the in this case, the fertilization takes place after this, and the fertilized pistil, it gets mature and it become pod, and the seeds are formed. And now these seeds, from these seeds, these offsprings, that is these plants, are obtained. And this is the F1 generation, that is the first filial generation. And now the plants of this generation, they are self pollinated. And that is the members of this generation, they are crossed, and their selfing is done between them to obtain the plants of the F2 generation. So this was a technique which Mendel used for performing experiments in his for performing hybridization experiments on the pea plant. So this was all about the Mendelism, the techniques Mendel used in his experiments. And in my next video, I'll be discussing about the monohybrid and the dihybrid cross, and the Mendel's laws of inheritance. And I hope I had cleared your doubts. In case if you have any doubts in this topic, please let me know in the comment section. Also, please like, share and subscribe. And thank you so much.